Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now, live at 5, live at 4.
It's Friday.
It sure is.
It sure is.
It's Tuesday.
You're Michael Bruno over there.
We have so much show today.
We
I don't
do.
think we can get it all in, so
No,
let's
that's true.
get started. So here's what's making news on this Friday here on Live at 4. As we approach the one-year anniversary of the gas line explosion in Sun Prairie, we hear for the first time from the contractor involved. Keely Arthur's here. She has that story for us.
If a Wisconsin senator gets his way, Wisconsin school children will find more varieties of milk available in their school lunch lines.
And a 17-year-old girl who was attacked by a shark and nearly died tells the story of her harrowing experience.
Let's take a look outside today on this Friday. The weekend is off to a beautiful start.
It's Flag Day today.
Yeah, that's a really great shot.
It really is. It's that windy out, too. A little brisk out there. The weather words, dodging drops with Dad. Chris Reese is in the backyard patio. Sounds like it might be wet this weekend.
Yeah, there's a possibility of that. So in the meantime, let's focus on what's out there right now, and that's the fact that it's absolutely fantastic. It is the true story of what a southwesterly wind can do, coupled with some sunshine. Temperatures are into the upper 70s, even some low 80s showing up, and we are at 77 right now here in Madison. Those winds, you can hear them coming out of the south and west at 15 miles per hour. We're going to be staying breezy as we go through the next couple of hours. Plenty of sunshine out there, along with some cloud cover, especially as you look towards the north and the northeast. We've been watching that cloud cover over the northern tier of the state pretty much all day long. That's where they've actually had some shower and thunderstorm activity. Now, some of that tried to move southward towards us. I don't think it's going to make it in the meantime, but we will have a shower chance as we go into the overnight hours and towards tomorrow. We'll break that down in Maine weather. We're watching traffic right now as well. It is, of course, increasing on the belt line as it would for Friday. No major issues showing up, but nonetheless, we are seeing more and more of those brake lights. Park Street, Fish Hatchery, you've got some major construction going on there. So do expect your heaviest delays outside of the belt line along some of those routes. But we're going to be tracking the traffic as we go through the show as well, guys.
All right. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Chris.
No problem.
Thank you, Chris. First at 4, for the first time, we're hearing from the subcontractor whose workers struck the natural gas line that led to the deadly explosion in Sun Prairie last summer.
Our Keely Arthur has been on this story since day one and joins us now with this update. Keely?
Well, it's been nearly a year since the explosion which killed Captain Corey Barr. Investigators are still trying to piece this together. The big question today is whether or not subcontractor VC Tech violated state law that day by drilling. The company contracted to mark the job site. USIC Locating Service filed a complaint against VC Tech. USCI's lawyers argue that there was no valid project ticket for VC Tech to dig in Sun Prairie and that the company should have filed a new ticket with Diggers Hotline before starting work. But VC Tech's lawyers say those claims are false and inappropriate.
I start pulling back, and after 40 feet, the workers, they start smelling gas. So
what did you do then?
I stopped and I called 911.
The next day when we were doing the ticket search, over a couple day period, we had learned that VC Tech did not have a ticket in the area.
The owner of VC Tech testified that the company who hired him to work, Bear Communications, told him he was okay to dig and that the lines had been properly marked. Now, if the state does find wrongdoing on VC Tech's part, the company could face up to $500,000 in fines.
But downtown Sun Prairie almost back to normal.
Yeah, they've really come a long way. We're going to have the anniversary of that July 11th, so coming up on that.
It's been almost a year already.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. All right, Keely, thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. We're learning more about the moments after 2 oil tankers were attacked in the Middle East. New audio has been released from one of the vessels that came to the rescue of the crew of an attacked oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman. The United States blamed Iran for the attacks on the 2 tankers, and U.S. Central Command released video of what it says is an Iranian military boat pulling an unexploded mine from the side of one of the tankers. U.S. officials, including President Trump, have publicly called for Iran to come back to the negotiating table a year after the U.S. pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal.
President Trump celebrated his 73rd birthday today with a nearly 1-hour call into Fox and Friends this morning. This comes as he faces intense backlash for comments he made about accepting opposition research from foreign people. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Thank you very much, please.
President Trump now says he would notify law enforcement if a foreign government offered up dirt on a political opponent in the 2020 presidential election. The president called into Fox and Friends to make the clarification.
Of course you have to look at it, because if you don't look at it, you're not going to know if it's bad. How are you going to know if it's bad? But of course you give it to the FBI or report it to the Attorney General or somebody like that.
That's a little different from what Mr. Trump told ABC News.
This is somebody that said, we have information on your opponent. Oh, let me call the FBI. Give me a break. Life doesn't work that way.
The FBI director says that's what should happen.
The FBI director is wrong.
President Trump's campaign spokesperson laid out their plan of action on CBSN.
The president's directive, as he said, a case-by-case basis. He said he would likely do both, listen to what they have to say, but also report it to the FBI.
Critics, even some Republican lawmakers, denounced the president's comments, saying it opens the door to more foreign interference in presidential elections. On Capitol Hill, Natalie Brand for News 3 Now.
And the European Union said Russia continues to try to interfere in Western elections. The EU says Russian online outlets use social media to try to sway voters ahead of last month's elections.
Senator Ron Johnson is proposing a bill that would allow schools to serve all types of milk to students. As of now, under the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act, the only options for milk in school lunches are skim and 1%. Johnson's bill would allow for students to choose from all types of milk, including whole, 2%, and flavored milks. Watertown dairy farmer Carrie Mess says if this act passes, it will help dairy farmers because more kids would be drinking milk.
What really matters is building those healthy habits. And a lot of kids are going to choose whole milk over skim milk. They think it tastes better. And I would rather a kid grab some milk over a soda or a really sugary energy drink.
And Carrie Mess says milk provides more nutrition and the protein helps people feel more full between meals.
Stocks ended the week lower. The Dow Industrials fell 17 points, closing at 26,089. The NASDAQ Composite Index lost 40, and the S&P 500 was off 4.5.
A 17-year-old girl is sharing her story after a shark attacked her off a North Carolina beach. Paige Winter is speaking for the first time after a shark nearly killed her almost 2 weeks ago. She was swimming in waist-deep water at Fort Macon State Park with her dad, Charlie, and some friends.
And I pulled her up. A shark came up with her, and it was a big shark. The head was, it was a big shark, and kind of thrashed a little bit, and I had just a big eye just staring at you. And I immediately just started to hit it.
When I was in that water, I was like praying. I'm like, I'm 17. I got so much to do.
Paige was taken to a hospital where her left leg was amputated. She faces a long road to recovery and 6 months to a year of rehabilitation. Paige says, though, she hopes to transform this experience into something good for herself and for sharks.
She is lucky. Well, coming up next, you know them from TV's Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood join us as they bring their improv comedy to the Overture Center tonight. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Well, need a good laugh? You're in luck because two of the funniest guys in television are in Madison tonight.
Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood are best known for their work on the improv show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? They improvise new material every night from audience suggestions in their show, Scared Scriptless.
Careful.
Yes, enunciate euphonically.
The show's at 8 o'clock tonight at Overage Center. Colin and Brad, welcome back to Madison. Good
Great
to see
you.
So this is basically your television show on stage.
Yeah, we like to say it's a live version of Whose Line without the tall guy and the black guy. It's all pretty much the same. It's actually even more interactive than a TV show.
Yeah, we use the audience a lot more. In fact, we bring them up in almost every game we play. So on any given night, there could be 10 to 12 people that we bring up on stage.
So tell us how it works. What, the audience just throws out a scenario and you roll with it?
Yeah, we have a framework of like 8 to 10 games, and every game starts with a suggestion from the audience, and if we need some audience members, we bring them up on stage, and then we just make up crap.
Yeah, sometimes.
For a living.
Yeah, it's a good life.
Yeah.
So the television show, I mean, people are probably familiar with it, but give us a little history of it.
Well, it started off as a radio program in London, and then it turned into a TV program, and about the last 5 seasons or so, Ryan and Greg and Colin were on those, and then I was on the last 3 seasons, and then it moved over to ABC with Drew. And now it's on the CW.
And what about the genesis of the stage show? How did that come about?
It started when we were doing the Drew Carey version. He would take us every Super Bowl weekend to Vegas, and we would do shows at MGM or Caesars. And it was great, but there was like 12 of us, so we didn't really
stage,
we didn't get a chance to really do a lot. And Brad and I are stage hogs.
Yes.
So Brad had actually been sort of experimenting with a 2-person show and asked me if I'd like to go on tour. So yeah, 17 years later, we're still doing it.
We've been doing it nonstop ever since.
Is it as easy? I mean, it looks very easy, but it's very difficult, I assume.
Well, it's a funny version of the way your brain works all the time. All of our conversations that we're having right now are improvised. It's not planned or written, so even if you have a question written. So we're just making the funny version of how your brain works when you drive, when you're walking up down the street. So.
But I'm fascinated by improv because you have to think on your feet so fast. And, you know, I'm fascinated by how your brain works. Like, what is wrong with you two?
That's a very good question.
No, I mean it sincerely. I mean, to be funny and to be spontaneous are not necessarily easy to do together.
It helps with, you know, as I said, we've been working together 17 years. When you work with someone that you trust, there's something, it's just exciting to walk on stage with nothing and know that just with the two of us and whatever the audience gives us, it's all going to work out somehow.
You don't ever get stumped? You don't ever blank out? And
all through the show.
Yeah.
The whole thing is all through the show. I mean, every moment that you say something, then he has to figure out what he's going to say back to me. You know, and then when he says that, I'm stumped, and then I come up with, my brain comes up with maybe 3 or 4 things. I pick what I think is the funniest thing to say, and I say it, and then he does the exact same thing.
And you crack each other up once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is, I never laugh.
He's a consummate professional, but
yeah.
I break up like good old Harvey Korman all the time.
There are times.
Is this similar to stand-up comedy, or is it a totally different animal?
Totally different beast. With stand-up, you know, they work at it, they write it, and it's a different dynamic with the audience. The audience is kind of sitting back, okay, make me laugh. With improv, they have more of a vested interest because they're giving us all the suggestions. They want us to succeed, so we have maybe 10 minutes more to suck.
Yeah. Can we try this? Dennis, you want to throw out a topic?
Oh, geez.
Bananas.
Bananas.
Okay.
It's a very Wisconsin topic.
Is bananas a Wisconsin thing? No. It's a new thing, apparently. They're taking over from cheese curds.
Yes, but they're short bananas. They're like this big and they're deep fried.
Yeah, oh.
Everything has to be deep fried. That's part of the state motto.
I think the Wisconsin animal is a deep fried something.
Yes, it's a deep fried badger.
Oh,
yep.
I didn't know.
Badger meat. Tastes like chicken, strangely enough.
There you go.
So do bananas.
Just keep going. Don't stop them. Don't stop them.
We are out of time, unfortunately. Colin and Brad are on stage tonight at the Overture Center. Tickets are still available. Great to see you. Continued success.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome to Madison. Have a great show tonight. Great to see you.
We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Take a look at this. Talk about escaping the rat race. How about enjoying happy hour at a new pop-up rat bar in San Francisco? The rat bar at the San Francisco Dungeon lets people pet, snuggle, and play with rescued rats. Then sip a rat-themed cocktail garnished with a beer-derived rat tail dubbed the Amaretto Sour. The rats are provided by a local nonprofit called Rat Tickle Rodents Rescue. They're domesticated, safe to handle. Guests pay $50 a head to tour the dungeon and then spend some quality time with the scurrying rodents. Sort of a modern-day rat pack.
I think it was okay until the rat tail in the drink.
I don't think it was ever okay for me at all.
That was kind of...
And we couldn't have a photographer Lance edit this because he cannot stand rats.
A lot of people are that way.
I can't either.
They make good pets. They've been on the... They brought them up on the main side.
Misunderstood, right?
That's right. Speaking of misunderstood, we had Charlie Barron's on Live at 4. In the past, he produces the widely popular Manitowoc Minute featured on YouTube, examining life in the Badger State in his own style.
It's very, very funny. And this week's segment features our fabulous farm babe, Pam Yankee, sharing a little bit about her job and some of her Wisconsin favorites. Check it out.
Some people call you the Oprah of farm broadcasting. You get a cow, and you get a cow.
That's right.
Chick-fil-A or Culver's?
Culver's,
Okay.
come on.
You know, I had to ask, I had to make sure I got the right woman in the car. Quick Trip or BP?
What?
These are establishing questions, Pam. You answer them.
Should I pull out my Quick Trip card for you?
Oh, she's getting feisty, folks.
Pull out her Quick Trip card for you.
The whole thing is so funny.
Yeah, it's like 3.5 minutes.
So go on to the ManitowocMinute.com. It's on just about everybody's Facebook page who knows Pam, too.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Charlie's a talented guy.
Oh, yeah.
He really is.
I like to quote him when I have the chance
All
to
right,
do
let's
so.
keep it moving.
Yeah, but hey, we're watching the forecast going through the rest of the weekend. There are going to be some chances for some showers and thunderstorms. Whether or not that clears out for Father's Day, I'll answer that coming up after the break. Well, it was the tale of two stories across different parts of Wisconsin today. Across the Northwoods, a lot of those temperatures were cooler than they were 24 hours ago. But then from Milwaukee all the way up towards Fargo, North Dakota, you find a lot of those temperatures being a lot warmer than just 24 hours ago. A lot of that is thanks to a strong southerly wind that is rocking and rolling. The Twin Cities, 84 degrees right now, 80 in La Crosse, Milwaukee at 79, Madison at 77 right now. Notice a lot of the 50s and 60s starting to show up from Wausau over towards Green Bay and then up towards Rylander. The reason they are a lot colder is, for one, they have a lot of cloud cover that's been persistent over that area all day long, but the cloud cover comes with showers as well. So we've been watching the showers pretty much all day. Right now they're stretching anywhere from about Wausau over towards Green Bay and then back over Lake Michigan. We're watching those down here in Madison. A lot of us are dry right now, but we do have some showers up towards Fond du Lac. We're watching to see if the showers moving in near Dubuque and Platteville will have the opportunity to reach the ground as we go through the rest of this afternoon and evening. I'm not quite sure I buy it. Radar trends have been showing a lot of that trying to fall apart, and the air is somewhat dry. But you can see the cloud cover as you look out towards the west. Temperatures right now are still mild, and these were the highs that we did see today. Janesville made it to 81. The 77 is actually where we stand right now. That is our high in Madison, which is 1 degree below where we should normally be for this time of the year. Typically, we shape up right around 78. So all in all, not too bad for a day that was initially thought to be cooler than normal. But as long as we have these winds coming out of the southwest at 15 miles per hour, folks, we are going to stay warm, and you add just a little bit of sunshine to that, and that's why our temperatures were able to do what they did today. Overnight, we begin to cool down into the 60s. We'll notice some showers and thunderstorms starting to develop along the state line. That's where I think most of the shower and thunderstorm activity will be overnight and into your Saturday morning. 8 o'clock, 65 degrees, wind still coming out of the south. We will see an increase in cloud cover, but then we get in towards Saturday evening. That's where we're going to have the best chance for showers and thunderstorms to roll on through here. They'll be quick moving, but they could produce some heavy rain as they do so. We're looking at perhaps half an inch upwards towards an inch of rain. And then as you get closer towards the state line, perhaps upwards of 2 inches of rain going through the weekend. This is all a part of a cold front that's pushing towards the south. Waves of low pressure are riding along that cold front, bringing in those rain chances. But once that sinks towards the south, on Father's Day, Sunday, that begins to sweep out a lot of the moisture with it, and then we will see clearing skies. That's why I do think by the time we get you into the afternoon on Father's Day, we'll start to see some clearing skies, which is good news. However, that high pressure coming in behind that is going to bring some cooler temperatures. Sunday and Monday, unfortunately, we will struggle to get out of the 60s for highs. We'll return to the 70s throughout the rest of the week. But notice we're staying below average. Our average high is 78 right now. By the end of the next 10 days, our average high is going to be around 80. So our pattern going through the next week and some change is ultimately going to be one that's somewhat cooler than what you might normally expect for this time of the year. But at least we'll see a few days worthy of sunshine there. That's going to be Monday and Tuesday. Rain chances do come back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we've even added a slight chance for rain to the forecast on Saturday. Initially, we were hoping that day would be dry, but Dave and I have decided to bite the bait there and throw in a rain chance for now. We're going to watch it closely, and then perhaps another rain chance by next Sunday. So it's an active and cooler pattern, but I don't think any of those days are complete washouts.
Okay, so just scattered stuff.
Yeah, scattered stuff right now. Hopefully it stays that way or even dries out for us.
All right, you and Dave causing trouble back there in the weather room. All right, well, this is exciting news. USA Today has confirmed what many of us already know, one of the best places for cheese curds right here in Madison.
USA Today asked its readers to vote for the best cheese curds in Wisconsin. Many Madison area places were nominated, but only one rose to the top. The Old Fashioned on the Capitol Square was ranked as having the best cheese curds in the state.
And Best of Madison winner as well, Madison Magazine.
Our friends there were so nice. They actually sent us some cheese curds over.
Yeah, I'll let you all do the honors first.
You need the sauce here.
You need the sauce.
Oh, okay,
you know, if they're the best cheese curds in Wisconsin, that means they're the best cheese curds in the universe.
In the world. That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you think? Isn't that fair?
Well, that's true. I mean, where else can you get Wisconsin cheese curd? Look at those.
All right.
You need me to hold it?
You picked the right day to fill in, Chris.
I did. Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah.
They sent 4 of these containers.
Yeah, you should
We
have.
had to fight to save this one.
Well, I think we have a picture of everybody, the wolves in the newsroom descending
try it?
on them.
Yeah, sure. All right, thanks.
There we go. Look at this shot. Look at this shot.
Wow. All right.
It's amazing. It's amazing they lasted out to get out here for the show.
That feels good.
Whoa. It's good cold.
Yeah, they're even good cold.
Okay.
Dana Fulton went there last night. She took off work to go to the Old Fashioned for cheese curds.
I went once when I first moved here. I did not get cheese curds at the moment. I didn't know. I'm going to have to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
In second place, it says cheese cart. What is it? Curd girl? Curd girl. She's got a food booth cart on the square. She's at the farmers market every week.
So all 2 Madison places. That's great.
That's a testament when they're good cold.
Yeah, that's impressive. Wow. I'm blown away.
All right. Well, while we eat curds, let's find out what's coming up on this weekend on the CBS Sunday Morning program. Lee Cowan is filling in for Jane Pauley on CBS Sunday Morning. He's joining us now. Lee, what can we expect to see?
Hi, Mark. Well, we're going to take a look at actor and comedian Tim Allen. Of course, he's the voice of Buzz Lightyear. He's returning to that role again for Toy Story 4. But as he told our Tracy Smith, being the voice of that iconic toy with that iconic catchphrase isn't always what it's cracked up to be.
In my prayers, I said, I liked all this success, but I don't like kids that much.
You really don't like kids that much?
I don't dislike, they take too much attention away from me.
But clearly kids like you, I mean, man.
They're like cats. If you ignore cats, they come and talk to you. You ignore and are rude to children, they think that's great.
No, Mark, we, of course, know him as Tim the Tool Man Taylor. He's still into hot rods. In fact, he collects them. He's got a bunch of them. He took Tracy for a ride in one of them. So there's a little bit of both for the young and old, this piece. Mark.
He's honest, at least, about kids and things, so... What?
He's honest, to a fault, perhaps, but yeah, he's honest.
So what else is on the show this Sunday?
Well, we've also got an investigation into firefighters. It turns out these days, I mean, as dangerous a job as it is, fighting the fires themselves isn't the most dangerous part. It's actually breathing all the smoke that comes from those fires. And in the last several years, it turns out that 2 out of every 3 firefighters who dies in the line of duty actually dies from cancer, not from being burned or caught in a building or something like that. So they're essentially sort of dying this slow death, fire by fire by fire. So we're going to take a look at what's being done, something to help and try to change the laws in some of those places and figure out just what is being done.
Shocking story. All right, Lee, we'll see you 8 o'clock Sunday morning.
Sounds good, Mark. Thanks.
Interesting program as usual, the way it sounds. Well, when we come back, Shaft is back on the big screen this weekend.
We'll have a preview of the latest incarnation when Live at 4 continues.
Shot in the backyard. Just a reminder, it is Flag Day, a day to honor Old Glory. Well, a movie opening this weekend takes a familiar title into a new generation.
David Daniel has a closer look at the latest incarnation of Shaft.
Hi, I'm looking for
Shaft.
Who's asking? John Shaft Jr., your son.
My son? Junior?
Jesse T. Usher joins Richard Roundtree and Samuel L. Jackson in the latest take on Shaft.
Ignore him. He thinks he's a black James Bond.
That dude was real. He think he was me.
There are some generational conflicts.
You didn't just break laws. You committed human rights violations.
So?
So? I work for the FBI. I can't be aiding and abetting the city's highest profile sociopaths as you just tear through Harlem one drug dealer at a time.
Look, you asked for my help. I gave you my help. There are certain tropes that go along with being who I've traditionally been when I established my character in 2000. Oh, look at here. How long has it been?
Never long enough. Lady Syphilis, Madam Chlamydia. It's lovely to meet you both.
That's Junior's mama. She a little bitter.
The 2019 Shaft has Regina Hall and Alexandra Shipp as more assertive women than back in 2000.
I think that's key because for a lot of the time in today's society, we try and silence women, especially women of color, and we try and put them in a box, and there is no box that could hold us.
Some things do change.
What's up?
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
That's got to be good.
It looks really good. I've liked all the incarnations of it, and the music, too.
Oh, absolutely.
The best.
This is the 5th Shaft movie. Wow. So check that out this weekend. And when we come back, this year's edition of Stage Q's Queer Shorts marks a special anniversary.
50 years ago this month, the Stonewall riots in New York City marked the beginning of the gay rights movement in this country. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to find out how they're honoring the anniversary when Live at 4 continues.
Well, happy Friday, folks. That evening commute starting. Let's go ahead and get you home and show you how that traffic is shaping up for us. This is the Beltline at John Nolan. Now, typically, once you get towards John Nolan, the traffic starts to get a little bit better for you. So we're seeing an increase in volume, but nonetheless, the traffic is flowing towards John Nolan. Those slowdowns are, as always, mainly between Verona Road and John Nolan. That's where traffic speeds right now are anywhere from about 20 to 25 miles per hour. You've got a couple construction projects going on as well outside of the Beltline that are causing some delays. Fish Hatchery and Park Street, right around that intersection, there's a lot of construction going on. It has the road down to 1 lane. So your average speed is right around 7 miles per hour. There will be delays if you're traveling that direction. Of course, the delays we've been watching for a while, Verona Road at the County Highway PD intersection, but a lot of the speeds in that area are moving somewhat better than they have at times. We're talking 14 to 15 miles per hour. Still, some delays are showing up there. Once you get onto the Beltline, the slowest area is going to be between Verona Road and John Nolan in the eastbound direction. Outside of Madison, once you get towards those bigger highways there, we are watching some slowdowns going from Middleton to Sauk City, about 46 miles per hour. That's taking you about 20 minutes. But then the Beltline to Janesville on the interstate, an average speed of 40. That's going to take you about 45 minutes. So pack the patience as you head home, folks.
All right, Chris, thank you. We take you now to the small Russian town of Persilov-Zaleski for its annual Herring Festival, which celebrates the town's birthday. It was founded in 1152. It's 900 years old. Highlights of the festival include the cutting of the herring, done in Dutch style, thanks to Peter the Great, who visited the Netherlands. Hope you're taking notes. The fish is cut into thin slices so people can eat it all on one shot. Another treat of the day, the local specialty, herring ice cream. Minced herring is added to the creamy ice cream. We're told the salty herring added to the sweet dessert makes a surprisingly good combination.
Now, I love pickled herring, but this is Dutch style, right? So this is not the in a jar, nicely cut.
No, I was in Amsterdam, and as we were at a restaurant, I'll get some herring. They bring you out this plate of fish. Head and all.
Yeah, you're supposed to hang it by the tail
and drop it in.
Right. Ooh.
Fortunately, there were cats everywhere. Got rid of that. Anyway, moving on. 14 years ago, Stage Q started staging queer shorts, a variety of short LGBTQ short plays.
This year is special because the community is honoring the 50th year of the Stonewall riots, widely regarded as the beginning of the gay rights movement.
Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out Queer Shorts' Spirit of Stonewall.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Carlos, you scared the shh out of me.
It's an interaction between a high school girl and boy who are best friends, and she is still questioning her sexuality, has never really dated anyone.
Unless I could talk into wearing a polka dot dress. Maybe do something with this hair.
I told you, I'm not going.
Aw, come on. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, and I have the right to say I don't want to go.
So my character is kind of going through questioning, like, what sort of people she's attracted to, and she's never had any sort of romantic relationship, so she feels pretty lonely in that and doesn't really know how it's going to turn out for her. She kind of feels like she's doomed in that sense.
Use it as an excuse to get all dressed up and unleash your inner fabulousness.
I don't have any fabulousness, inner or outer.
Oh, sure you do.
At the end, I think she kind of feels like her friend is there for her regardless of what happens with her romantically.
Carlos has known who he is and has accepted who he is since he was very young. So for our particular one, at least in terms of Carlos, it's not a conflicted finding out who you are. For him, that's already done. But he wants his friend, who is still determining her own sexual identity, to be happy and embrace who she is. You have to be there to celebrate with me when they call my name.
You know I think you're wonderful, right?
Yes.
And you know they nominated you as a joke, right?
Yes.
How does this particular piece relate to the Stonewall riots?
It shows the result of Stonewall so that you can have somebody in high school happy that he's been nominated for Homecoming Queen.
Come out of your shell, little turtle. You could borrow one of my sister's dresses.
For many, many years, it was all the boys in the band syndrome, where, you know, the gay person either is self-loathing, or they have to die, or they get killed, or something happens to them, as opposed to where we're seeing that happen now. And is that a direct result, do you think, of Stonewall?
Absolutely. I also really enjoy it being like playing someone that is relatively carefree, because playing someone that's openly queer and also happy and enjoying their life and who they are, that feels like a rebellion of its own. I would really like for you to be there with me if I win. And if I don't.
Either way, I'll be there to clean up the blood. Does your sister have a polka dot dress? Because we either go big or we go home.
Interesting. And this is the last time after 14 years they're going to do queer shorts per se.
That's correct. So they have traditionally have taken submissions from authors all around the country and local writers, and then they perform the one-act plays, like 5 for the first act and 5 in the second act. So they decided that they were going to put that to rest, and then next year they're going to be doing a festival of plays in all the Bartell theaters. So it'll be upstairs and downstairs, and they'll do submissions for music and dance and one-acts and original pieces. So it'll be more in conjunction with Pride Month for June for next year.
So these pieces are not necessarily about Stonewall. It's sort of about what it meant to these people, right?
Or how it changed.
Or how it changed.
Right, how it kind of changed their lives, or how it spoke to them. And then these playwrights then took the theme of Stonewall and then wrote about the experience of like what that's done for opening up theater and opening up their own personal issues, their own personal lives. So it's some really compelling little pieces, and it's really, really a wonderful, wonderful way to celebrate Pride Month.
And the 50th anniversary of Stonewall.
Exactly.
It's hard to believe it's 50 years.
I know. Remember when we were there 50 years ago?
We could have been.
That's true.
All right. Let's tell people exactly when this is. I'm ahead of myself here. It's Queer Short Spirit of Stonewall at the Bartell Theatre, June 14th through the 29th. Go to bartelltheater.org for ticket information. And next week we lighten things up a bit.
That's true. Next week it's The Little Mermaid for 4 Seasons Theater at the Memorial Union Shannon Hall.
That'll be different.
It will be very different.
All right, Michael. Have a great
Thanks,
weekend.
Michael. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Be right back with a final check your forecast.
Swipe.
A little chilly out, but I mean, it's not bad now, but it was this morning.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the southerly winds took over, and so we saw those temperatures jump up close to 80 in some spots.
Really?
It'll be a milder night, though. We'll see those lows right around the 60-degree mark. Will become mostly cloudy. There will be a chance for showers and thunderstorms, but I do think that best chance is going to be closer towards the state line. Tomorrow, everyone gets in on that chance for showers and thunderstorms. It'll be near the state line in the morning, and then we'll watch another round in the afternoon and evening. That's the one that I think has the chance to get everyone a little bit damp as that comes on through. Beyond that, temperatures fall for the first part of next week, but we're staying below average by at least a couple degrees as we go through a lot of those days next week. So your average temperature is about 79 to 80, but we're going to see a lot of those temperatures right around 75. So you're going to hear us saying it's cooler than average, but it's still going to feel good.
Yeah. But 67 and 68?
We'll look past those. That's Monday and Tuesday anyway.
You're off on Monday.
I'm off on Monday.
Yeah.
I enjoy the cooler weather anyways.
Exactly. It's not going to be unbearably hot and humid out there, so I think it's just going to be beautiful, whatever season you want to call it weather.
Right, yeah.
While you're out.
The last week of spring, right?
Yeah, the last week of spring officially. Real summer begins at the end of next week.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chris.
And Monday here on Live at 4, Dr. Zorba Pastor will be along to take your medical questions live.
And our film critic Will Loper will join us. He'll tell us what he thinks of the movie Men in Black International. That's Monday on Live at 4. This week on the News Hounds Now update, it's dugongs and selpas.
Lola and Louie may have lost it. Let's find out what they're talking about in this week's edition of the News Hounds Now update.
It's News Hounds Now update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds, a nursing dugong,
A swimming selpa,
and a baby elephant
squawk.
But first, it's Father's Day weekend and June Pride Month. So what better time to share a story about a same-sex pair of flamingos at the Denver Zoo? The two are named after LGBTQ icons NSYNC band member Lance Bass and Queen frontman Freddie Mercury. They've been a pair for several years, and obviously the two males can't have a chick, but zookeepers say they're always stepping in as surrogate parents if a breeding couple is unable to raise their chick. Happy Father's Day.
A baby dugong is being nursed back to health in Thailand. The little dugong, a species of marine mammal similar to the American manatee, became attached to humans after getting lost at sea. At around 5 months old, a little girl named Mariam, which roughly translates to Lady of the Sea, has become an internet hit as images of marine biologists embracing her and feeding her milk and seagrass spreads across social media. When full-grown, dugongs can reach 11 feet in length, and they're listed as vulnerable by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. The hope for Mariam is that one day she can fend for herself, but that won't happen for at least another year.
From dugongs to salpa, they look like jellyfish, but this is a string of salpa. They're individual animals currently connected together, synchronizing their swimming. Salpa swim by pumping through their bodies. This also allows them to strain out phytoplankton for food. This string of